Every single year, my family pulls the same garbage.I save up money, request time off work. Plan a nice trip somewhere quiet where I can actually relax. And every single year, about 2 weeks before I'm supposed to leave, my sister Ashley calls mom crying about how she needs a family vacation because her kids are driving her crazy. And her husband works too much. And she deserves a break. Then mom calls me. The conversation is always identical. See, it starts with how Ashley is so stressed. And the kids would love to see their favorite aunt. And wouldn't it be so much better if we all went together as a family? I've fallen for this exactly 4 times. For entire vacations ruined because Ashley shows up with her 3 kids. Expects me to babysit half the time. Complains about every restaurant I pick. And somehow never has money to chip in for anything. Last year was the final straw. I had booked this amazing cabin in Montana. Paid for everything up front. 3 days before I was supposed to drive up there, mom convinced me to let Ashley and the kids come along. The cabin only had 2 bedrooms. Guess who got stuck on the couch? While Ashley's kids destroyed the place. They broke a lamp, spilled juice on the white carpet. And Ashley just shrugged and said, "Kids will be kids." So this year I planned differently. In January, I started telling my family I was planning a trip to Florida in August. I showed mom brochures, talked about which beaches I wanted to visit. Sent Ashley links to family-friendly restaurants nearby. I acted super excited about it. I even went on the floor to subreddit asking for recommendations. Here's what I actually did. Back in February, I booked a 2-week trip to Iceland. Paid in full, non-refundable. I didn't tell anyone, not mom. Not dad, not my buddy Greg, who I usually tell everything to. I kept every confirmation email in a separate folder. I requested the time off work, but told my boss to keep it confidential if anyone called asking. Sure enough, 3 weeks ago, Ashley called mom sobbing. Her husband was working overtime all summer. And she was drowning with the kids. And she desperately needed a beach vacation to recharge. Mom called me that same evening. I let her talk for 5 whole minutes about how Ashley really needed this. How the kids had never seen the ocean. And how it would mean so much if we could all go to Florida together. As a family. I said sure. Absolutely, the kids would love it. I started sending Ashley links to beach house rentals that slept 8 people. I texted her about water parks nearby. I even had a whole group chat going with mom and dad about what groceries we should buy. When we got there, Ashley kept saying she was tight on money. So I said don't worry, we'll figure it out. Which obviously meant I would end up paying for most of it like always. 2 weeks ago, I told them I found the perfect beach house and sent them the Airbnb link. Mom immediately said we should book it. I set the dates I wanted were August 10th through 17th. Everyone agreed. Ashley started making packing list for her kids. In the group chat last Monday, mom asked me to book the house since it was on my Airbnb account. I said I would, but I needed everyone to Venmo me their share first. Which it was $900 per family. Dad sent his share. Within an hour, Ashley suddenly went silent in the group chat. Tuesday, she messaged saying her husband's bonus didn't come through. So could she pay me back an installment starting in September? I said no. I needed the money up front because the house required full payment. She got mad and said I was being unreasonable. And that family helps family. Wednesday, mom called me, saying I was being too harsh. And that Ashley was going through a hard time. And couldn't I just spot her the money? I said I already spotted her money on the last 4 trips. And she never paid me back. Mom got quiet. Thursday, I told the group chat that actually the beach house got booked by someone else. So the Florida trip was off. Sorry, everyone. Ashley immediately called me crying saying I did this. On purpose because I didn't want her kids there. Mom tried to mediate. Dad stayed quiet like he always does. Friday, I woke up to 17 text messages from Ashley, calling me selfish, and saying her kids were crying because I ruined their vacation. Mom said she was disappointed in me for not being more flexible. I didn't respond to any of them. Saturday morning. My phone was still buzzing like an angry hive on my bedside table. I could see Ashley's name flashing repeatedly, punctuated by Mom every few minutes. I silenced it, flipped it face down and finished packing my thermal layers. My flight to wake up. Vic was at 4 p.m. I had requested an Uber for 12:30. The apartment was quiet for the first time in years. The pre-trip anxiety wasn't about whether Ashley's kids would scream the whole drive or if I'd be forced to pay for a family dinner. That included 3 appetizers and dessert for everyone. The anxiety was just excitement. Pura una durante. The excitement. I double-checked my folder. Passport booking confirmations for the camper van. Glacier hike tickets, Blue Lagoon reservation. It was all there. Around 10:00 m. My doorbell rang. I froze. I lived 40 minutes away from my parents. But Ashley lived only 15. If they decided to stage an intervention, they could be here. I crept to the peephole. It was Greg. I opened the door, pulling him inside quickly. Well, easy there. Secret Agent Greg laughed. Holding up a 6-pack. I thought we were watching the game. Greg, I am so sorry. I forgot to tell you I'm leaving. Leaving for Florida. I thought that fell through. Your mom posted a very passive, aggressive Facebook status about disappointments this morning. I winced. Not Florida, Iceland. Greg's jaw dropped. Iceland? Since when? Since February. I explained the whole scheme. The decoy Florida trip, the fake Airbnb links, the Venmo standoff. Greg listened, his eyes getting wider with every detail. When I finished, he just started slow clapping. You are a genius, he said. A terrible, evil genius. They are going to murder you. They have to find me first. I grinned and my phone is going on airplane mode. The second I get to JFK. What about when you get back? I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Preferably a bridge over a volcanic river. I gave Greg the spare key to water my plants and keep the blinds closed, so it looked like nobody was home. By 12:30, I was in the back of a Camry, watching the familiar streets of my neighborhood fade away. At the airport, I felt a pang of guilt. Just a small one. It hit me when I saw a family in the security line. 2 exhausted parents wrangling a toddler who was trying to eat the stanchion belt. That could have been me. I could have been the designated auntie, holding the diaper bag while Ashley went to get a Starbucks. But then I ordered a glass of wine at the terminal bar, opened my book and realized that for the next 2 weeks, the only person I had to take care of was myself. The guilt evaporated. Iceland was otherworldly. It felt like landing on the moon. If the moon had moss and waterfalls. I picked up my camper van, a rugged little thing, with a heater and a surprisingly comfortable bed in the back, and hit the ring road. For the first 3 days, I didn't turn my phone's data on. I used the van's GPS and paper maps. I hiked to the top of Skogafoss and got soaked by the spray. I walked on the black sands of Rianista, watching the Atlantic waves crash, with a violence that made my family drama seem insignificant. It was bliss. On the 4th day, I was sitting in a hot spring in the middle of nowhere, watching the steam rise into the twilight when I decided to check in. Just a peek. I turned on my phone. It vibrated for a solid 2 minutes. 43 missed calls, 86 text messages, 12 voicemails. I scrolled through the text. First. Ashley, Saturday. 2 p.m. Are you seriously ghosting us? Mom is crying. Ashley, Saturday. 4:30 p.m. I know you're home. Your car is there. Open the door. My car was parked in the garage, which he couldn't see into. But nice try, Mom. Sunday, 9 a.m. We came by your apartment. Where are you? We called the police to do a wellness check. My heart stopped. The police. I quickly opened the next text from Greg. Greg, Sunday, 11:00 am. Heads up. The cops showed up. I told them you were on a solo camping trip upstate. Without signal covered for you. You owe me big time. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. God bless, Greg. Then came the turn. Ashley. Monday, 8:00 am. Greg said, you went camping by yourself. That is so selfish. You could have taken the boys camping. They love the outdoors, Dad. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Call your mother. She thinks you're dead in a ditch. And finally, the most recent one from this morning, Mom. Wednesday, 7 a.m. Aunt Linda saw a picture on Instagram. You're in Iceland. Damn. I had posted one photo, just one. A picture of the northern lights from my private account, which I thought I had locked down. Aunt Linda, the family spy, must have created a burner account. I hesitated. I could ignore it. I could turn the phone off and enjoy the rest of my trip. But the cat was out of the bag. I typed a single message to the family group chat. I am safe. I am happy. I planned this trip 6 months ago because I needed a break. I will see you all when I get back on the 24th. Do not call me. I will not answer. Then I blocked them all for the duration of the trip. The next 10 days were even better. Knowing they knew and knowing they couldn't do anything about it was a special kind of freedom. I ate fermented shark. Disgusting. Drank Brennan Strong and slept under the stars. I realized how much of myself I had whittled away, trying to fit into the role of the reliable one. I wasn't just reliable. I was resourceful. I was independent and I was done being a doormat. I landed back in the States on a Sunday evening. The post-vacation blues hit me hard as I waited at baggage claim. But they were quickly replaced by a steeling of nerves. The confrontation was inevitable. I took a cab home. As I pulled up to my apartment building, I saw a familiar minivan parked in the visitor spot. Ashley, of course. I considered telling the driver to keep going. Maybe to a hotel. But no. This was my home. I paid the rent. I wasn't going to hide. I walked up to the entrance. Ashley hopped out of her van. She looked tired, but her eyes were blazing. You have some nerve, she spat, marching up to me. Hello to you, too, Ashley. How was your week? How was my week? My week was hell. The kids were devastated about Florida. I had to tell them Auntie didn't love them enough to take them. Don't put that on me, I said. Unlocking the lobby door, I didn't cancel the trip. I just didn't pay for it. You lied. She screamed, following me into the lobby. You pretended to plan Florida while you were booking Iceland. That's psychotic. It's called boundaries, Ashley. I knew if I told you I was going away, you'd find a way to make it about you. And look, I was right. Even now, you're not asking how my trip was. You're screaming at me because I didn't fund your vacation. It's not about the money. It's about family. If it's about family, I said, turning to face her by the mailboxes, then why is it always me paying? Why is it always me babysitting? Why am I the only one who sacrifices my time off? Because you're single, you don't have responsibilities. You have money to burn. The entitlement hung in the air thick and ugly. I have money because I work, I said calmly, and I have responsibilities to myself, which I finally honored. Mom is devastated. She threw out her trump card. Mom will get over it or she won't. I'm going upstairs. Ashley. Do not follow me. I got into the elevator. She stood in the lobby fuming. As the doors closed, she shouted, don't expect an invite to Thanksgiving. Promise, I muttered as the car ascended. The silent treatment lasted for a month. It was glorious. I went back to work refreshed. I showed my colleagues my photos. I started taking a pottery class on Thursday nights. Then the flying monkeys arrived. First it was Aunt Linda posting snide comments on my Facebook. Must be nice to jet set while family struggles. I deleted and blocked her. Then Dad called. Look. He said, sounding weary. Your mother is really upset. She feels like you deceived her. I did deceive her, Dad. Because every time I tell the truth, I get bulldozed. Remember the Montana cabin? I know. I know. Ashley can be a lot, but you know how she is. She relies on you. She's 34, Dad. She has a husband. She shouldn't be relying on her younger sister to fund her lifestyle. Just come for Sunday dinner, please. Mom made pot roast. I sighed. I missed my dad. He was an enabler. But he was a good man. Feeny. But if Ashley starts in on me, I'm leaving. Sunday dinner was tense. Ashley wasn't there. Apparently. She was too hurt to see me. It was just Mom, Dad, and me. Mom set the roast down with a heavy clatter. So she said, serving the potatoes. Was it worth it? Was what worth it? Tearing this family apart for a few pictures of ice? I put my fork down. Mom. I didn't tear the family apart. I took a vacation. The fact that my vacation caused a crisis says more about Ashley's marriage and your expectations than it does about me. We just wanted to be together. Mom sniffed. Is that so wrong? It is when being together. Means me working as a nanny and an ATM. I love you guys, but I'm done being the resource. You mind when you want a break? Mom looked at Dad. Dad looked at his piece. We worry you're drifting away. Mom said quietly. I'm not drifting away. I'm growing up. And part of growing up is realizing that I can't fix Ashley's life. For her. The dinner continued in relative silence. It wasn't resolved. Not really. But the line had been drawn. 2 months later, Ashley called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. What? I'm divorcing Mark. She said. Her voice sounded small, broken. I sat up straight. What happened? He's been gambling. That's why the bonus didn't come through. That's why we never have money. He blew it all online. Oh. Suddenly, the desperation for the Florida trip made sense. It wasn't just entitlement. It was panic. She needed a win. She needed to pretend everything was okay. I'm sorry, Ashley. I said, and I meant it. I have to move out, she cried. I can't afford the house on my own. Mom and Dad said I could stay with them for a bit. But it's going to be crowded with the kids. I knew what was coming. They asked. Can I stay with you? Can you help with the deposit? I took a deep breath. That sounds incredibly hard, Ash. Mom and Dad's place will be tight. But you'll have support there. Yeah. She hesitated. I don't know what to do. You need a lawyer. I said. I can help you find one. I can help you look over your finances. But I can't give you money and I can't have the kids live here. My lease doesn't allow it. A lie, but a necessary one. There was a long silence. Okay. She whispered. Okay. Help with the lawyer would be good. It was the first time she hadn't pushed back. The first time she accepted a boundary without a fight. The next year was messy. Ashley's divorce was ugly. Mom and Dad were stressed. Having 3 energetic kids in their retirement home. I helped where I could. I researched attorneys. I helped Ashley update her resume. She hadn't worked in 10 years. I took the kids to the park on Saturday afternoons to give Mom a break. But I didn't pay for things and I didn't cancel my plans. When summer rolled around again, the inevitable question popped up in the group chat. Mom, so summer plans? Maybe a weekend at the lake. I waited. Ashley. I can't afford a trip this year. I'm saving for an apartment. Maybe next year. I smiled at my phone. Progress me. A lake weekend sounds nice. I can drive up for the day on Saturday. But I'm actually booked for 2 weeks in September. Mama, where are you going? Me? Japan, Mom. Wow, That sounds far. Dad. Sounds expensive. Be safe, Ashley. Bring me back a Kit Kat, the green tea kind. I stared at the screen. No guilt trip. No begging, no why can't we come? Will do, I typed back. I booked my tickets to Tokyo that night. It wasn't perfect. Ashley still complained. Mom still worried. Dad still stayed quiet. But the dynamic had shifted. I was no longer the doormat. I was a person with her own life. And as I sat in a ramen shop in Shinjuku 4 months later, slurping noodles and watching the rainfall on the neon streets, I realized something. I hadn't just saved my vacation that year. I went to Iceland. I had saved my relationship with my family. By forcing them to function without me. They had learned slowly, painfully, to stand on their own. And I had learned that I could love them without setting myself on fire. To keep them warm. I took a photo of my ramen and sent it to the group chat. Me thinking of you guys. Ashley looks good. Don't forget the Kit Kats. I smiled, put my phone away and ordered another bowl.